It's time for Waking Up with Wesley. Today's forecast and weather-wide discussion with WLOX First Alert Weather's senior meteorologist, Wesley Williams.
Hello there, South Mississippi, and thank you for waking up with Wesley. I'm Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. Look out the window this morning and we find a pretty cloudy view, right? You can see all of our cams across the Mississippi coast in Biloxi, Gulfport, and on the coast of Hancock County. Looking cloudy with some fog. We did have a dense fog advisory earlier this morning, and as we go through the 8 o'clock hour, you can see some places with low visibility across parts of the Mississippi coast, so watch out for that. You know, it looks like it wants to rain, so you might be wondering, when are you going to need your umbrella today? And I'm here to tell you, you probably won't need your umbrella as much as you might have originally thought. You see, there's a weak cool front that moved through the area this morning, and so the air has become a little bit cooler, a little bit drier. If we take a look at some of these 24-hour changes compared to yesterday, here's a look at the temperature change from yesterday morning, and you can note that there is a small area in South Mississippi where temperatures are a little bit cooler than yesterday morning, so you might notice that. We also see that the dew points have dropped a little bit. The moisture in the air has decreased a little bit in South Mississippi. So again, not a very strong front, but just enough so that it's made for a little bit of a cooler morning, and I think technically a slightly less muggy day than yesterday. That helps us rain chance wise to where I don't think you really need the umbrella today. The chances have been decreased down to 20%, not zero, but it really doesn't look like we're going to see much rain materialize across the area today, even though there are going to be a few clouds to contend with. Highs should make it into the upper 60s this afternoon, which is not quite as warm as yesterday when we had 70, but it's pretty close, so a mild day, even though it is cool this morning. Now looking at this evening, it will cool back down. You can see 50s by 9 p.m., looking at chilly 40s overnight. There could be a stray shower tonight. The rain chance tonight is 30%. There's tomorrow. We're seeing a beginning of the day with a generally low rain chance, but then it actually ramps up as we go into later on tomorrow. So if we take a look at those rain chances for tomorrow, I'll pull that up for you. All right, so let's take a look at the rain chances for tomorrow. You saw the morning temperatures 40s, afternoon 60s, and look how the rain chances steadily increase as we go into the rest of Saturday. So that means that if you have some Saturday morning plans, you might not need the umbrella as much, but if you have some Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening plans, you definitely want to have your rain jacket with you. You want to plan for wet weather in the area, as we'll probably see some scattered showers with a chance for thunderstorms at times during the Saturday p.m. time frame. And this actually continues into tomorrow night. You can see the rain chances for Saturday night are pretty high between sunset and midnight, and then they kind of decrease around midnight, although they will start to pick back up as we go to Sunday morning. So a lot going on there rain chance wise. Temperature wise, we'll see temperatures kind of all over the place Saturday night. They might start kind of cool in the 50s at 9 p.m. and then in some cases they might actually increase overnight as we're going to be put into the warm sector of a storm system on Sunday that will carry some scattered showers and the highest rain chance, frankly, out of your whole weekend. So your highest rain chance out of the whole weekend comes in Sunday with that storm system. And then we're looking at much drier air arriving Sunday night behind a cold front that lingers into Monday. Now, because we are going to be on the warm side of the storm system, we actually, believe it or not, will not only have the chance for a few rumbles of thunder, but we're seeing the introduction of a chance for some severe weather. Now, is it a high chance? No. It's as low as it can go. It's down to level 1, so very low probability, but not zero, of thunderstorms becoming strong, maybe even severe. Maybe we could see a brief weak tornado somewhere in that green highlighted area. Could see the chance of some damaging straight line wind gusts. Could also see the chance for some large hail, but all of the probabilities of those things I just mentioned are very low, even though they're not zero. Now, while we are on the warm side of the storm system, our neighbors to the north will be on the cold side of the winter storm system. And that means that wintry weather is likely going to cause some significant travel impacts to northern parts of our state. Basically, once you go to the north of Jackson, as well as close to the Mississippi-Tennessee line, that's where there will be accumulations of freezing rain as well as of sleet, and that's really going to basically shut down travel. So if you have any travel plans this weekend, going to the north of Jackson, somewhere between Jackson and the Mississippi-Tennessee border, you are going to definitely want to pay close attention to the weather, and you're probably going to want to just kind of cancel any travel plans up there, because I strongly doubt that we're going to see folks on the roads in Oxford, for example, when most of the computer models for Oxford are showing accumulations of freezing rain and sleet to approach a ½ inch to an inch. Not only will that shut down travel in the Oxford area, but it will actually also begin to damage infrastructure in regarding power lines. You know, the ice, the freezing rain will accumulate, causing an icy glaze on elevated surfaces, really all surfaces. And some of the power lines will begin to snap because the heavy weight of ice will cause the power lines to snap in the northern parts of the state. So, you know, that really doesn't mix well when you have power outages at the same time as the temperatures getting very cold. Going to be a very big problem for those areas. You know, it's one thing if you can kind of hunker down to hide from dangerous weather. That's what people will be doing there. They're hunkering down to avoid traveling in dangerous weather. But it's another thing when your hunker down place is also in danger. If you're hunkering down in a place where, wham, the power goes out and it's still very cold and you got to find a way to eat, to stay warm, you know, it's going to be a problem. But thoughts go out to our neighbors in the northern parts of the state. If you have any friends and family members up there, be sure to check in on them. Maybe invite them real quick today on Friday. Invite them down to the coast and let them stay by y'all's house for the weekend. They have to travel today, preferably in the next few hours. Once you get to later tonight as well as tomorrow, already going to start to see some travel impacts in the northern part of the state. I want to actually fast forward to Sunday, because that's going to be the day that we see a warm front moving across our area. So we're going to see warm air coming in from the Gulf. On the backside of that cold front, there's cold air coming down. Oops, I used the wrong tool. Here we go, the cold air coming down from the north like this. So that's why you see our temperature staying pretty warm Sunday morning. We find 60s and 70s in parts of South Mississippi, South Louisiana, South Alabama, Western Florida Panhandle. You can see temperatures in the 60s and 70s, so pretty mild, if not downright warm for Sunday morning. All of that warmth could fuel thunderstorm development. So that's why I'm saying that when you're looking at this map and you're seeing this area here, the warm sector, a warm sector, what is that? It's the place in a low pressure system between the cold front and the warm front. So that zone is what's referred to as the warm sector. It's where the warmest and most moist air usually resides in a low pressure system. And that's what we are going to find, a frontal system, I should say. And that's what we're going to find here as we go to Sunday morning. Now watch what happens to the temperatures in New Orleans. They were at 70 at 6 in the morning. Now it's 46 degrees at 9 in the morning. So when that cold front passes through, it means business. We're talking sharp drops on that thermometer on the order of 20 to 30 degrees in just a matter of hours. So I want to look at Hattiesburg and see what their temperatures did as well. 65 at 6 in the morning, then the cold front passes for them, 38 by 9 in the morning. So again, dropping, 20 to 30 degrees in just 2 or 3 hours. It's an incredible thing. If you are standing outside in South Mississippi, some point on Sunday between sunrise and noon, you will feel it. You will feel the frontal passage, because the air temperatures will sharply drop and you're going to begin to get this kind of blast of wind coming in from the north and west You won't be able to miss it if you're out there outside on Sunday morning as this cold front passes across our area. So watch what happens to the temperature in Gulfport from 9 in the morning on Sunday to noon on Sunday. Wow, 60s to 40s. It's crazy, right? It's going to catch everyone off guard. There are going to be people who walk out the door Sunday morning going to church. They might dress in short sleeves or, you know, some rather warm weather attire. And then when they're maybe having lunch or brunch afterwards or, you know, doing some shopping, running some errands in the afternoon, all of a sudden it's winter in a big way. 40s in the afternoon, that is a major shock to the system if you were planning on 60s or 70s. So, you know, fortunately, y'all are watching. You're not going to be caught off guard, but hopefully you can let your friends know, hey, y'all, Sunday, it's going to literally change. Sunday is 2 days. Sunday is fall in the morning and winter in the afternoon, as far as temperatures are concerned. Now, the question is, okay, we're cooling off on Sunday afternoon, but are we going to cool off fast enough to change some of our raindrops to ice pellets and snowflakes? And today, for the 5th day in a row, the answer for the 6 southernmost counties is no. So that's good. We don't have to worry about any accumulations of that. We're just looking at cold rain, which is still a major travel disruption. I mean, it's not like it's light rain. I'm seeing yellow and orange colors. We're talking rain downpours on Sunday. But I think with the passage of the front, that will probably conclude the threat of severe weather. So if you're wondering when's the severe weather on Sunday, the timing for that, it is Sunday morning. Once we exit the warm sector, you know, this area over here, once we are no longer in this warm sector, that pretty much will decrease the chance of severe weather in a big way because you lose that warmth that tends to fuel stronger storms. So back here it's just kind of cool, and so we're not really seeing any stronger storms, just some heavy downpours and some steady rain for you around lunchtime. Now, the temperature goes from 47 at noon down to 44, 43 at 3 p.m. So it's getting even colder. It's almost in the 30s, right? I mean, Hattiesburg down to 38. So, you know, again, the temperature coming down, is there still some moisture left to change the raindrops over to snowflakes or ice pellets? And again, looks like the moisture is exiting. By the time we're 3 p.m., most of the moisture is over the Alabama line. It's moving into Florida. And we are beginning to quickly turn drier so that by the time we're at 6 p.m., okay, we're finally starting to see temperatures in the 30s here in coastal Mississippi, but there's no rain left to change raindrops into snowflakes. It's all gone. So I'm not saying it's going to be completely dry because I still see some clouds, and so those clouds are literal moisture suspended in the sky. So maybe if, you know, but it's not very much, right? There's a difference between a rain cloud and a rainless cloud. These rainless clouds are, you know, drying out. There's not much moisture left to them. And so that means if they're going to try to produce some snowflakes for us, if they're going to try to produce some ice pellets for us, they're going to be very, very fleeting, very light, very brief. Remember last Sunday at 3 in the morning when there were little bitty snow flurries in Gulfport, Biloxi? Well, same kind of situation here. You can see the model actually shows them. You can see these little bitty like white dots right there in the computer modeling. That's the snow flurries kind of showing up. But they're not showing up in a very big way. They're very tiny. They barely show up in South Mississippi at all. But our temperatures are going to be cold enough so that by 9 p.m. Sunday, if there's any moisture left, it probably won't be a raindrop. I can tell you that much. I mean, with our temperatures down into the lower 30s, if there's any moisture left, it's probably not going to be rain. But I do think it's going to be too dry, so I don't really think we're going to see much other than just cloudy skies. Cloudy skies and a half of a flurry flying through the sky Sunday night. The more important thing is going to be those temperatures. It's less important about flurries and ice pellets because we're not going to see any accumulation in South Mississippi. So that means it's not going to impact any travel plans or whatever. You might be wondering, okay, is there enough time for the roads to dry? I was hinting at this yesterday. Well, if the final raindrop falls in South Mississippi at 3 p.m. in Pascagoula, you've got how long before the first 32-degree temperature hits? 11 p.m. So you got basically 6 to 8 hours of strong, dry, breezy wind helping to dry roads up. Now, we don't have any sunshine, looks like, so that's a minus, but we do have dry, breezy wind, so that's a plus to help to dry roads up so that when the freezing temperatures do begin at Sunday night, we might not have too many like slick spots freezing over from rain puddles that become icy spots on the road. So that's, my only concern there is how much of the roads can we dry up. 6 to 8 hours seems like a good amount of time with strong breezy wind to dry up the roads. So hopefully that's how that will work out for us. Now, as far as the feels like temperatures are concerned, we'll kind of walk you through this just to show you an idea of what we're looking at for Sunday. So again, Sunday morning, mild 60s for those feels like temperatures. We go to Sunday afternoon, it's already turning chilly, feeling like the 50s and 40s between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. And then we go to Sunday night, 9 p.m., feeling like the 30s. And then eventually, remember, it's breezy, so we're really getting some really bad numbers here. By the time we get to 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning on Monday, we are seeing the wind chill numbers down into the bitter cold teens. I'm not even ruling out some brutal cold single numbers. And so with this type of stuff, there's probably going to be a cold weather advisory or a cold weather warning that will be issued for our Mississippi coast. Expect to hear your phones go off about that this weekend. If the National Weather Service issues it for Monday morning, they're going to put it out this weekend, and that's going to make your phones go off with an alert noise, especially if you have our First Alert Weather app. You'll get that notification as soon as the cold weather advisory and or I should say extreme cold warning is what it would be called if we get one of those. And I can briefly go over what those mean just to refresh your memory in case you see them. And that'll be one of the last things we do before the 7-day. So what's a cold weather advisory? It is issued for parts of coastal Mississippi when the air temperature or the wind chill drops below 25 degrees. And so we are certainly going to see wind chills below 25 degrees. So that's easy peasy. There will be at least a cold weather advisory. By the way, when you're under those, that could threaten life and property if precautions are not taken. What about the other one? Extreme cold warning. Well, that's a bit more serious because at that point, the air temperature or wind chill drops below 15 degrees. And we just showed you the forecast model showing the wind chill of 11, right? Or at least somewhere in the lower teens. So again, this will be an imminent threat to life and property. They do have the ability to issue an extreme cold watch and or warning. The watch happens first and then is upgraded to a warning. So you're probably going to see one of those types of alerts. And that's why on our 7-day forecast, you're going to see that alert there. It's there also to remind you to prepare your pipes. Today's some good weather to do that. Have you wrapped your pipes yet? You know they're going to burst on Monday morning, right? If you don't wrap them, that's what's going to happen. So if you haven't done it yet, today's a good day. Mild 60s, low rain chance. It's pretty good. Tomorrow, it's all right in the morning. Still some low rain chances tomorrow morning. But then we start to see those rain showers and storms tomorrow afternoon, and it's not the best weather to wrap pipes Saturday afternoon. Sunday, definitely not the best weather to wrap pipes. We're going to be dealing with rainy weather in the morning, and then it's going to turn chilly and breezy in the afternoon. And then the pipes freeze Sunday night and Monday morning. You can see that 25 there. 25 is for Gulfport, Biloxi, Pascagoula. I think we're going to do 23, 22 for Wiggins, Perkinston, as well as Saucier and Van Cleve. So the inland areas. We barely get out of the 30s on Monday. At least there will be some sun and it will be dry. It will be breezy though, and that's how we get those bad wind chills into the bitter cold teens Monday morning. Brutal cold single numbers on Monday morning is a possibility because it's windy while it's very cold. Tuesday morning, we kind of lose most of the wind. So hopefully we don't have to worry about that, but it's still cold enough to burst your pipes second night in a row. So that's why you got to keep them wrapped for Monday night. That's why that alert is there. For the pipe bursting freeze, obviously it's not just pipes, it's people and pets and plants and pipes, but we haven't had too many pipe bursting freezes so far this season, so that's why we're really trying to message that strongly so that you're aware of the potential damage to your property. Tuesday, we get into the 40s, it's sunny. We get another freeze Tuesday night, but it's not the pipe one. In order for pipes to be in danger, we typically need temperatures in the middle 20s or colder for about 4 hours or longer in South Mississippi. Everyone's pipes are different. Some freeze earlier than that, some freeze later than that. Some take more cold to freeze, some take less cold to freeze. Everyone's different. You know your pipes better than I do. But in general, we generally don't see any widespread issues until we get mid-20s or colder for 4 hours or longer. So that's our usual kind of standard criteria for that. And we're not expecting that for Wednesday morning. So, but you can see there's not really any change to the chill. We're going to stay chilly for much of next week. So keep that in mind. Well, that'll pretty much do it for this edition of Waking Up with Wesley. I've been Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. Have a good one.
Thank you for watching Waking Up with Wesley with WLOX First Alert Weather Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams.